Creepiest Outdoor Horror Stories by Real Dread. Number 1. The Proposal.
I rented a remote cabin in the mountains to propose to my girlfriend. I've known she was the one since our first date, but I never expected what happened in those woods. Everything was perfect. Snow on the trees, no neighbors for miles. It was the kind of quiet that feels like a movie. The first night, she woke me up, whispering, "Did you hear that?" I didn't hear anything, but she swore someone was pacing outside the cabin. I told her it was just animals, but the next morning I found boot prints in the snow. They weren't mine and they weren't hers. That night, I planned to propose by the fireplace, but while she was upstairs getting ready for bed, she screamed. I ran up and found her shaking. She said I had just been in the hallway, whispering her name, but I'd been downstairs the whole time. She didn't believe me until we both heard it again. My voice, from just outside the front door. We didn't open it. I never proposed. We left that cabin before sunrise. But sometimes, when I watch the video from that weekend, I see a third shadow behind us, and I still don't know how it knew my name.
Number 2. There's no place like home.
The woods behind my new house have a secret, and the first time I found it, I don't think I ever came back the same. It was my first morning exploring the trails, sunlight spilling through the trees, everything calm, until I saw them. Rows of crosses, gravestones, no names, no dates, just silent markers in the dirt, stretching out like they'd been forgotten for decades. I wandered between them, my footsteps feeling too loud, my breath too sharp in the still air. There was no sign, no history plaque, just this graveyard hidden in the woods. The longer I stood there, the heavier the air felt, like the trees were leaning in to listen. I left with more questions than answers, but somewhere along the trail, I realized I was lost. Hours passed. My phone showed no service, no map, just endless trees. And then, without warning, I stepped out of the trees and straight into my backyard. No path, no sign I'd been anywhere close to home. Almost like the woods had been holding me, and finally decided to let me go.
Number 3. Ranger Danger.
I've been a forest ranger for 6 years. Last month, they gave me a new patrol zone, way out past the ridge. No marked trails, no signal, and according to the logs, no visitors in over a decade. At first, I thought it was peaceful. No campers, no trash. Just trees, silence, and sky. But then I started noticing things. Branches broken 8 feet up. Footprints the size of dinner plates. Deep, wide, like something heavy was moving through. One morning I found my trail markers rearranged. The colored flags had been braided together, and a circle of stones was stacked in the middle of the path, perfectly balanced. I radioed it in. They said it was probably wind. Wind doesn't make noise. Then came the sound. 3 nights ago, just past midnight, I heard it. Not an animal, not human. It started low like a growl but stretched into a howl that vibrated through my cabin walls. It didn't echo. It hung there. I stayed inside, didn't move. But the next morning, I found something outside my window. A muddy handprint, huge, spanning nearly the whole pane. And just before dawn, I heard my cabin door unlatch.
Number 4. Forbidden River.
They told me not to swim in the river after dark. Said it remembers things. Holds on to them. I thought they meant currents, undertows. But the first night I went down there, the water was still. Too still. Like it was waiting. and then it whispered my name. Not from the shore, from beneath. I ran. But now, every night, the river gets louder. It talks about things I've never told anyone. Things I've buried. Now even when I close my windows, I can still hear it flowing. And it's getting closer.
Number 5. Mimicked.
I was out hiking just before sunset, trying to clear my head. The forest was quiet, too quiet. Then I heard something faint but unmistakable, a voice, calling my name. It sounded exactly like me, same tone, same rhythm, same broken, tired voice I've heard in my own head 1,000 times. At first, I thought it was an echo, until it started asking questions. Why are you here? It said. Why do you keep pretending you're alone? I turned, but there was no one there, just the trees, still, watching. Then it whispered so close I felt breath on my neck. If you're here, then who's in your body right now?
Number 6. Mirror Lake.
There's a lake in the mountains near where I grew up. Locals call it Mirror Lake, not 'cause the water's calm, but 'cause it shows you things. People say if you camp there alone, the lake doesn't reflect the trees or the stars. It reflects something else. My uncle told me a story once, said he went up there as a teenager with some friends. Middle of the night they heard splashing, someone calling for help. But when they ran to the shore, there was no one there. Except their own faces in the water, staring back, but not copying them, smiling, even when they weren't. Only 2 of them came back down the mountain. My uncle never talks about what happened to the third, just says the lake likes to keep one. That's why no one around here camps by Mirror Lake anymore. Not unless they're ready to leave something behind.
Number 7. Unexpected guest.
It was supposed to be a quiet camping trip, just me and my cousin. We pitched our tent, built a fire, and told ghost stories like we were brave. Around 2 a.m., I woke up. There were footsteps outside. Slow, steady, circling the tent. I whispered to my cousin, but he was already awake, eyes wide, finger to his lips. Then, a voice. Not a person's voice. It sounded like someone trying to sound human. It said my name, twice, from 2 different directions. We didn't move, didn't breathe. The footsteps finally stopped. In the morning, everything looked normal, but my name was carved into the bark of the tree behind our tent. And neither of us remembers falling asleep.
And finally, number 8. Rapid escape.
Every summer, my friends and I raft the same river. But this year, something followed us out of the water. The rapids were rough. We lost a cooler and one of the paddles, but laughed it off. By nightfall, everyone was partying by the campfire. Everyone except me. Because over the music, I kept hearing something in the woods. Heavy, deliberate footsteps. Branches breaking like bones. I didn't say anything until the music stopped, and everyone else heard it too. Whatever it was big. We left everything and bolted for the cars, and that's when it came. The loudest, most unnatural screech I've ever heard. It wasn't an animal. It definitely wasn't human. Just a deep, tearing wail that made my chest vibrate. Like a warning, don't come back. When I reached my car, I froze. On the hood was the paddle we'd lost in the river, snapped clean in half and covered in deep bite marks. That's when I knew. Whatever was out there, it wanted us gone. And it wanted me to know it was still watching.
Subscribe to Real Dread for more scary tales.